In this lecture, we will see how we can open Visual Studio Code, and I know that what you're thinking, why we need a lecture specifically to just open a program. Well, let's see why. First of all, the most straightforward way in which you can open VS Code after you have installed it, you can simply go to the list of your programs and search for Visual Studio Code and simply open it. Simple as that. What I want to show you in the remaining of this lecture is how you can open VS Code from inside a terminal. And why would you even need to do that? Many times it is a more straightforward way in which you can open VS Code. That's the only reason to win a few seconds. That's basically it. So let's see how you can also open VS Code from a terminal. And this requires a special mention if you're using a Mac. Well, if you're using a Mac, you need to also register VS Code as a command for your system. You can simply do this. The documentation also tells us very nice that if you want to launch VS Code from a terminal, if you are using a Mac, you first need to add code as a path command. So for this, you first need to install to open VS Code regularly. You can simply open it, and inside this VS Code you have to press F1 or Ctrl+Shift and P like this, and then you can simply enter this command right here, shell command install code command in path. Alright, after you do this, then you can watch the remaining part of this lecture. Well, we can simply launch VS Code from a terminal. Let me open a terminal. So I'm inside my file explorer. I can open a terminal and I have it right here in my system. What I can simply do is to, first of all, to check if we have the code command, we can simply call check code -- version. You should see something right here. If you see something, that you can open code simply like this. And you can simply open code by typing the command code. Simple as that. Well, there are a few important variations to this command. You can open VS Code inside this particular folder with the code and then a dot. Or you can open VS Code in any folder by naming the name by specifying the name of the folder. If I want to only open one specific file inside VS Code, I can simply specify its name, and this second argument, if it is a folder, I will open a folder in VS Code. If it is a file, I will simply open only this file inside VS Code. Well, let's move on into the next section of the course and really understand how VS Code is working, and let's start this discussion by talking about the user interface.